With a win in Skopje, Budućnost secured the top spot in the standings and the home field advantage in the playoffs. Battle for the second place continues as Crvena Zvezda, j.t.d and Mega all grabbed away wins in this round. After beating Krka, Sutjeska is back in the fight to avoid relegation. Typhoon sits dead last in the standings. Sit tight as we wrap it up with the top 5 plays of the 23rd round. Welcome to ABBA Magazine. Ratko Varda left Sutjeska to continue his career in Lebanon, parting ways with the club from Nikšić on mutual consent. Veteran center arrived at the beginning of the year and played in only 5 ABBA League games, averaging 9.2 points and 5 rebounds per game. Megalex's talented guard Aleksandar Aranitović tore his ACL in a game against j.t.d. Aranitović, who recently celebrated his 18th birthday, played a major role for the playoff-bound Mega, spending nearly 20 minutes on the court, averaging 5.6 points and 2.8 rebounds per game. Aranitović is on a loan from Crvena Zvezda, with whom he recently signed his first professional contract. Miloš Janković decided to terminate his contract with Metalac, becoming an unrestricted free agent. The game against Typhoon was the last for the young center in Valjevo as he decided to leave Serbia. Janković averaged close to 4 points per game this season. After a thriller in Skopje, Budućnost secured the first spot in the standings at the end of the regular part of the season, beating MZT 72-68. The home team started off well, but once again failed to hold on to the lead in the dying minutes of a game played in Janez Sandanski Hall. Shots from the distance kept falling in as MZT took advantage of the visiting team's lack of energy and focus on defense to go on a 15-0 run and secure a 25-15 lead at the end of the first quarter. Budućnost clamped down on defense in the second, holding MZT without a field goal for 6 minutes. Luka Pavicevic's team allowed only 8 points and gained a 4-point lead at the halftime. Teams traded blows in the third quarter, but Budućnost got the edge with a 3 from Omar Cook. With 5 unanswered points in the fourth quarter, MZT took the lead 62-58, but Dragicevic and Šehović answered with a 6-point run. Danilo Mijatović kept the drama alive with a 3 to give the home team a 65-64 lead. Omar Cook was once again the unsung hero in Budućnost's 14th consecutive win. Following a steal, he assisted Suad Šehović and then drained a 3 for a 70-68 lead. After a timeout was called, Damjan Stojanovski took charge but failed to deliver. Budućnost finally secured the rebound and, assisted by Jenkins, Suad Šehović set the final score. In the team's 21st win of the season, Tadija Dragicevic scored 17 points while Suad Šehović and Alex Marić chipped in with 12 each. Drenovac scored 15 and Stojanovski added 11 points in MZT's fourth loss in the last 5 games. That kept the team in the lower half of the standings with 9 wins so far. It was payback time in Laktaši as Crvena Zvezda got even with Igokea for the upset in Belgrade earlier this season, giving the home team a 74-54 drubbing. Before the opening tip-off, Milan Dozic's jersey was retired, now overlooking the court from under the dome of the hole. The ceremony seemed to spark the visiting team as Dejan Radonjic's men dropped 13 three-pointers and kept their field goal percentage above 50% for the most part of the game. Coach Dragan Bajic took a gamble closing off the paint, focusing the defense around stopping Mike Cirbes, allowing open space on the perimeter, hoping that the visiting team would struggle with their three-point jumpers. But after quite an inefficient start, Nemanja Dangubic set the pace for the visitors' offense with 2 three-pointers on target. Igor Kea couldn't find any rhythm on offense, with the exception being a span of few minutes in the second quarter. The home team scored only 7 points in the first period, but an offensive outburst in the second got them within 2. In the second half, a previously invisible Quincy Miller and Mike Cirbes went on a tear with a 16-2 run. They led the team to a game-high 21-point lead. At that point, it was clear that the defending champions will snatch their 17th victory this season. Even when the home team managed to cut the lead to a single digit, Crvena Zvezda still looked undaunted. With Simonovic's 5th three-pointer in his 8th attempt, all hope went out the window for the home team in Laktaši. Member of the Serbian national team led the scoring list with 17 points. Miller scored all 14 of his points in the second half. 6 players on the visiting team managed to hit at least one three-point jumper. Stefan Jovic was not one of them, but he still had a notable performance with 6 points, 7 rebounds and 7 assists. Igor Kea's players were on target for only 6 out of 31 three-point attempts, with Šibalić and Booker leading the scorers with 11 points apiece. In a thrilling matchup in Ljubljana, j.t.d had to fight hard to earn the victory number 17 this season, beating a scrappy Olympia team 91-84. The visiting team had to make do without the injured Babic, Žorić and Marko Arapovic. A win over Maccabi in the Euro Cup gave the home team a confidence boost. With Sava Lešić as a centerpiece on offense, Olympia grabbed the lead at the end of the first quarter. The second period was one of the most efficient ones this season, with teams combining to score 59 points. In the up-tempo game with a high field goal percentage, the lead kept changing hands, and it was only fair that the first half ended in a tie, 50-50. The third quarter went to the team from Ljubljana, who went up by 7 twice. However, it seemed that all bets were off after j.t.d raced to a double-digit lead with a 13-0 run at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Surprisingly enough, j.t.d stalled on offense, giving Olympia a chance at a comeback. The home team got within 2 with a little over a minute left on the clock. But James White would have none of that as he scored 5 in a row to put an end to the home team's hopes of a come-from-behind victory. The team from Zagreb stays in the lead in the race for the second place in the standings, with White scoring 19 points with only 2 missed field goals and 6 rebounds. With 20 points, Fran Pilipic was the most efficient one, shooting 7 out of 8 from the field, including 4 three-pointers. Miro Bilan added 15 points for the winners. Even though Zach Wright had a great game, Olympia didn't benefit from it. With 18 points, 7 rebounds and 8 assists, he had the best individual performance in this round. Lapornik scored 1 point less and Nikolic added 15, but Olympia is still in the struggle to avoid relegation. Olympia won their first Adriatic League title in 2002. The championship rings would once again be handed out in Ljubljana 9 years later, in the last appearance by the Slovenian club in the championship game. In the 2010-2011 season, ABA League consisted out of 14 teams. Final 4 places went to Partizan, who took the number 1 spot with an 18-8 record. Second placed Olympia had the same record as the third placed Krka, who made a historic first trip to the Final Four, and the final spot was occupied by Budućnost, a team that would give fierce resistance to the defending champions in the semi-final. Partizan at that time was coached by Vlada Jovanovic and won 62-58 thanks to an unbelievable fourth quarter comeback, with Jerols and Katic leading the way with 13 points each. Dejan Radonjic's team was led by Marko Simonovic, who scored 14 points for the losing side. In the second semi-final, the home team Olympia, led by Sašo Ožbolt, 19 points, bested Krka 67-57, ending a fantastic run for Krka and their coach Aleksandar Džikić. The final game was played in Stožice, but Olympia was unsuccessful in the team's second championship game, and for the fifth consecutive time, Partizan players took home the Adriatic title with a score 77-74, behind 20 points from Curtis Gerals.
Šuta na strani Partizana, Partizan koji šutira fenomenalnih 61%, 5 trojki iz 8 pokušaja. Pričali smo da to nije jača strana igre crno-belih, 60% šuta za 2, apsolutna skakačka dominacija izražena u dvostruko više uhvaćenih lopti, 2 lopte izgubljene više Partizana. Olimpija i dalje u životu zahvaljujući fenomenalnom procentu šuta za 3.
Apsolutno, Partizan nije uspio da zaustavi šut za 3 poena Union Olimpije, ali je s druge strane uspio da dođe i do balansa i vanjske i unutrašnje igre, znači ima i dubine i širine u napadu. Gerals je odigrao fantastičnu rolu u ovom prvom poluvremenu, 10 poena i izuzetno angažovani James Gist sa također 10 poena uprkos toj povredi ramena. Raško Katić nastavio tamo gdje je stao protiv Budućnosti u polufinalu, 7 njegovih poena.
Počinje već slavlje navijača Partizana, upalile su se već i baklje u Stožicama. Partizan je pred 5. uzastopnim šampionskim prstenom u Jadranu, to je zaista impresivno.
Zaista vrlo impresivno. Slobodna bacanja za Geralsa.
Sa 2 penala utakmica je završena, ali nije prvo pogodio Curtis Gerals. Sada će verovatno Partizan praviti faul. Sada će verovatno Partizan praviti faul, jer 2,4 sekunde je vreme za koje svašta može da se desi.
Gerals, drugo slobodno bacanje, pogađa.
Timeout ili izmena. Ulazi Kenny Gregory umjesto Šermadinija. Mislim da nema više timeouta ni jedan ni drugi trener. 2,4 sekunde. Bertans nabacuje loptu.
Preko čitavog terena.
Partizan je šampion.
Gotovo je, peta titula za redom. Mini dinastija Partizana se nastavlja. Velika pobjeda Partizana. Velika pobjeda debitanta na klupi Partizana Vlade Jovanovića. Mnogi su tokom ove sezone osporavali tog mladog trenera, dosta kritikovali njegov rad. Mnogi su mislili da se podrazumijeva da Partizan osvoji NLB titulu, ali pobjediti Union Olimpiju koja je odigrala vrlo dobru kampanju u Euroligi pred 12.500 navijača u Ljubljani, ova ekipa još jednom dokazuje svoj karakter.
With the league's hotbed of talented young players on full display in Zagreb, Megalex defeated Cibona 89-82. Dejan Milovic's team started off well in the place named after the great Dražen Petrovic. With aggressive defense, the visiting team forced a number of turnovers that led to easy buckets in transition. Cibona struggled on offense. Turnovers combined with poor field goal percentage dug a 12-point hole for the home team at the end of the first half. Damir Mulomerovic's team played significantly better after the break and clawed its way back to within 3. A perfect stage for yet another Timi Luvavu takeover. The Frenchman gave Mega an 8-point lead coming into the decisive period of the game. Cibona's zone defense broke up the visiting team's rhythm on offense, but Jarmas hit 2 dagger threes in a row for the win. In Megalex's 16th triumph this season, Luvavu had a team-high 21 points. Jarmas added 16. Yet another brilliant performance for Cibona's Ante Žižić went to waste as his 23 points and 11 rebounds were not enough to avoid the 13th loss of the season. With a packed house in Pionir, Partizan grabbed a life-preserving win in the battle to avoid relegation, overpowering Zadar 87-76. This was the 10th win for the Black and Whites this season and their 4th in the last 5 outings under the guidance of coach Aleksandar Džikić. With the support from the stands led by the fired-up Edo Muric, the home team went on an early 12-0 run to gain a double-digit lead. The league's most decorated team was in the lead all the way until the final minutes of the first half when the hot-handed Cozy sparked a 9-0 run by the visiting team. The hustling squad of coach Ante Nazor went to the halftime break with a 4-point lead. Partizan went 3 minutes without a field goal in the third period, and Zadar grabbed an opportunity to gain a game-high 8-point lead. However, in the following 5-minute span, the home team went on a pivotal scoring run. The team from Belgrade scored 18 points while allowing only 2 and took the lead that would remain unthreatened until the end of the game. As Partizan raced to a game-high 16-point lead, all that was left for the Zadar outfit was to soften the blow of their 13th defeat this season. One of the most important things that helped the black and white team snatch this all-important victory that will keep them in the upper part of the table was their excellent defense. They held Kraljevic to 6 and Delaš to only 8 points with a poor field goal percentage. They had a hard time guarding Cozy, who led the team with 19 points, while Barac added 15 in a double-double performance. Coach Džikic's team had a field day, going over 50% for 2 with 8 out of 17 three-pointers on target, along with 16 team assists. The game's MVP was Edo Muric with 20 points and 7 rebounds. Kevin Jones grabbed the same number of rebounds but scored 3 points less, while Aleksandar Cvetkovic was in his sniper mode, scoring 15 points without a missed jumper. With a win at home against Typhoon 78-62, Metalac made a decisive step towards securing a spot above the relegation line. With the 9th consecutive loss, defending Slovenian champions stayed glued to the bottom of the table. With the importance of the win on their mind, Metalac started off hot, but the three-pointers kept Typhoon in the game in the first quarter. The team from Valjevo made up for turnovers with hustle on the offensive glass to gain a double-digit lead. The visiting team didn't give up and left for the halftime break with a 5-point deficit. Đorđe Majstorović exploded in the third quarter with 3 bombs from beyond the three-point line, but Sandi Čebular was up to the challenge. The key moment took place in the dying seconds as Aleksandar Ponjević was called for an offensive foul, allowing Metalac to enter the fourth quarter with a 3-point lead. Petar Akičević opened up the fourth period with 2 consecutive three-pointers, giving the home team an opportunity to secure a better score differential in the team's matchups. Metalac held the opponent to only 7 points, won 78-62, winning a potential tiebreaker with Typhoon at the end of the season. For the second time this season, the team from Valjevo scored 13 three-pointers. Majstorović led the scorers with 19 points, while Kutlešić added 15. Čebular scored 21, but that wasn't enough to prevent Typhoon's 16th defeat this season. There is a glimmer of hope for Sutjeska in the battle to avoid relegation as the team from Nikšić defeated Krka 87-81 in overtime. It all seemed well for Igor Jovovic's team in the third quarter as the lead built up to 20. Sutjeska had an 18-point lead entering the fourth quarter, but what followed was an unbelievable collapse. It took 5 minutes for the home team to score from the field, and visitors made the most of that opportunity. Maric Rebec was a man on a mission, uplifting his team with 3 unbelievable three-pointers from 9 meters away, and the team from Novo Mesto found itself in the lead. The young point guard had a game-winning shot for Krka in the dying seconds, but he couldn't nail it, and the game went to overtime. During the additional 5 minutes, Sutjeska's point guard Nikola Pavličević came out a hero with 2 threes in a row for the team's 8th win this season. Pavličević was the top scorer for the home team with 20 points, while Ivanov led the losing side with 21 points and 8 rebounds. MVP of round 23 of ABA League is James White. In Cedevita's win over Olimpija, he scored 19 points, grabbed 9 rebounds, and dished out 2 assists for an index value of 26. There were 3 players with better numbers in this round: Zach Wright from Olimpija with index value 34, Ive Ivanov from Krka and Ante Žižić from Cibona. But Cedevita was the only team that went on to grab a victory, so the MVP of the round title fell right into James White's hands. We saw a lot of attractive dunks in Valjevo this season. The latest came on a fast break with Jošilo dishing out a beautiful assist to Jevtović for a slam dunk. Matic Rebec is well known for scoring from long distance, but this was quite a show he staged in Nikšić. 3 long-range bombs in just over a minute. Edo Murić made Partizan fans rejoice in Pionir. He picks Ramljak's pockets and drops a hammer. It was quite a game played in Stožice, but Robinson and Lešić get the honors of pulling off the play of the game with some veteran magic. And for the second consecutive week, Play of the Round award goes to Timothy Luvavu. The Megalex player went coast to coast in Dražen's home for this powerful dunk. You have been watching another edition of ABBA League magazine. See you again next week with the highlights from round 24.